Formula 1 returns to the Circuit de Catalunya for pre-season testing ahead of the 2017 F1 season, and there's a whole load of new regulations to contend with. Tyres were wider and front wings were also wider and curved. Rear wings were lower and wider. This has meant that the cars are now able to follow each other much better in dirty air created by the car in front. Also, lap times are in excess of 3 seconds per lap quicker. However, this will be track dependent on how much quicker the cars will be. Shark fins also return for the first time since the 2010 season. However, the most notable increase is that the cars will now be 2 metres wide instead of the previous 1.8 metres, and the engine has been increased to 2 litre V6 hybrids instead of the 1.6 litre hybrids used from 2014 to 2016. Also, spare cars return for the first time since the 2007 season. However, spare cars are only to be used following a red flag situation on lap 1 of each race. Restarts will happen using the same qualifying positions, and each team is required to have 1 T-car prepared for each race meeting. In the event that a driver is unable to take the restart, the reserve driver will take their place on the grid. Haas were the first team out on track to reveal their new car design for the 2017 season, and the team looked to build on an encouraging first season in Formula 1, which saw the team finish 7th overall in the Constructors and even take a podium finish at Brazil. Once again, the team will be heavily reliant from the raw power from their BMW power unit to drag them up the grid, and hopefully, with much improved aerodynamics as well, they can take the fight to Renault, Toro Rosso and the other midfield teams on a regular basis. Haas bosses were also confident that the team could even manage 6th place in the Constructors for this coming season, as they believe they have one of, if not the strongest driver lineup on the grid for 2017. Lance Stroll is promoted to the BMW B team on a 2-year contract. However, all sports media pages went into complete meltdown at the news that Robbie Kubica has been deemed fit to race by the FIA and returns to Formula 1 and will partner the young Canadian for the 2017 season, as both Robbie Kubica and BMW have unfinished business. Mercedes look to have returned to winning ways for this coming season, with both drivers topping the timesheets during the 4 days of winter testing. Also, Mercedes' reliability looks to be much improved from 2016, of course the season that saw Valtteri Bottas DNF 6 races due to engine failures. AMG have managed to get their hands firmly on the Mercedes power unit for the W08H, and their work looks to have paid off, with the all-new AMG designed and built power unit second only to BMW's M Sport 03H for raw power. Mercedes are also early favourites for both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship, although other teams do look to be hot on their heels and will look to outdo the German team as the season progresses. Fernando Alonso stays on at Mercedes for a second season, and Pascal Wehrlein is promoted to the Works team to partner the 2-time world champion, as Valtteri Bottas has chosen to take a sabbatical year out of F1, whilst also signing for Renault as their reserve driver, should his services be required. It's well known that Ferrari started work on the 2017 Challenger early on in the 2016 season, and this means that the Maranello team look to be hot on the heels of Mercedes to be top dog for this coming season. With the Ferrari power unit only at a slight deficit to the Mercedes in terms of raw power, the Italian team are confident that with planned aero and chassis upgrade packages to come throughout the season, they could outdo Mercedes and help Sebastian Vettel to take his 6th Drivers' World Championship. Ferrari keep on 5-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, as he's contracted to stay with the Scuderia until the end of 2018, as well as capturing free agent Jean-Eric Vergne from Red Bull. Reigning Constructors champions Williams enter their 40th year of competition in Formula 1. However, it looks to be a long shot if the team are to defend their Constructors title for this coming season, as the British team look to have slipped a significant way off the front-running pace, as the new regulations and car designs have not played to the team's strengths, as once again it's a well-known fact that aerodynamics has never been Williams' strong point since at least the year 2000. And once again, the team will be more reliant than ever on their BMW power unit to drag their cars up the grid and trying to defend the Constructors' Championship. The 2016 Constructors' Champions keep on defending World Champion Josh Chero for another season, as well as keeping on Sebastian Buemi for a third season, despite rumours that the Swiss driver wanted to leave the team due to tensions between himself and his teammate. Renault looked to be much improved coming into 2017, as this is the first proper year of competition in the V6 hybrid era, as the chassis and aerodynamics of the RS17 has been completely designed by the team, as in 2016 the team were forced to use the 2015 Lotus chassis due to the late buyout of the team. Also, without the added pressure of Red Bull's consistent demands for more engine power, Renault are now free to develop their car how they see fit, as they once again look to climb to the back of their glory days, where Alonso took his 2 championships for the team in 2005 and 2006. Renault name an unchanged driver lineup of Nico Hülkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo, and the team were hopeful that Ricciardo could even possibly repeat his race win at Singapore, as the team have a much better car than what they did last season, with Ricciardo to take his victory then. McLaren were expectant that Honda could build up an excellent 2016 campaign, as the team took a highest finish of 2nd at Germany. However, Honda looked to have gone back to 2015, as their power unit once again looks to be inferior to the other 5 on the grid for this season. Mario Haryanto even stated that the car is dangerously slow on the straights, as through the speed traps, the McLarens look to be 15 mph slower than both of the Saubers. However, there is some hope for the Japanese engine suppliers, as Mugen returned to F1 for the first time since 2000 in an attempt to return McLaren to the winning ways of 1988 to 1993. Another strength that with the McLaren for this season is their excellent chassis and aerodynamics, meaning on slower speed circuits such as Monaco and Singapore, the team expect points finishes, and maybe even to repeat Alonso's miracle podium at Monaco from 2015. McLaren keep on Rui Haryanto after an impressive debut season with the team, with their best finish of 2nd at Germany. Partnering in the Indonesian, this would be 2015 Lotus driver Carmen Jorda, after proving that she could beat defending world champion Josh Chero with the same machinery. Will Stevens is now demoted to reserve driver after an unimpressive second half of the season with the team last season. Toro Rosso also revealed a new livery for this season, and also, much like McLaren, a change in livery has also resulted in a change of fortunes for the worse. Despite coming into this season off the back of their best season in Formula 1, which included a double podium finish at USA, the Italian team looked to slip back over the winter, and they'll look to be struggling to even challenge for the top 12 points paying positions. However, Franz Tost was confident that the team can at least manage a podium finish this season, as the team have done so every season so far at least once in the V6 hybrid era. Toro Rosso also signed a new 2-year engine deal with Renault for power units. While Sainz was understandably frustrated that he wasn't given the opportunity to fill the vacant seat at Red Bull, despite outscoring Max Verstappen in 2016. Sainz's new teammate will be Frenchman Pierre Gasly, who makes the move up from Super Formula. Red Bull come into this season as the dark horse in the championship, as the Austrian team terminated their contract with Renault for power units following a frustrating 2016 season, which saw multiple engine failures for both Daniel Kvyat and Jean-Eric Vergne. Aston Martin wanted to increase their involvement with the team, however, as the British Motor Company don't produce their own race engines, Ford came in to supply the RB13 with their all-new Cosworth CA 2017H power unit. As Ford supplied Aston Martin with their race engines in other categories, mainly GT Formula, this was the only logical move from the American and British teams. Ford were confident that their new breed of F1 engine would be much more successful than their 2010 to 2013 efforts, which were used by Caterham, HRT and Manor. Daniel Kvyat starts his second full season with the team, hoping that change from Renault to Cosworth power units can help deliver him to his first World Drivers' Championship, and Max Verstappen was also promoted from the sister team to partner the young Russian for 2017. Sauber come into this season off the back of their worst ever in Formula 1, as the Swiss team finished last in the Constructors' Championship for the first time in their history. This led to the team being hit with financial difficulties over the winter, as a lack of funding means a lack of development. Due to this, their 2017 Challenger is approximately only 1.2 seconds quicker than their 2016 car when best laps from pre-season testing from this year and last year are compared. Whereas the top teams have found over gains of 3 seconds per lap. Sauber also signed a deal with Ford and Red Bull, as Sauber must allow French Aston Martin Junior GT driver Thomas Laurent to compete in the Belgian Grand Prix, as it's the closest on the calendar to France and the final 4 races of the season. In return, Sauber will receive 3 Cosworth power units for the 2017 season, and these engines will be to the same spec as Red Bull's, as both teams will receive upgrades at the same time throughout the season. After inspired performances in the final rounds of 2016, Adrian Sutil saves his seat with the Swiss team, whilst also becoming the Ferrari reserve driver. Ferrari's next young prospect, Antonio Giovinazzi, is to partner the German for the coming season, and Aston Martin GT driver Thomas Laurent is to compete in 5 races with the Swiss team, as part of the deal between Red Bull and Ford for Sauber to receive 3 Cosworth power units for 2017. It was to be an eventful winter for the previously named Force India team, as following on from a difficult 2016 campaign and the team's slow decline back towards the rear of the field ever since midway through 2014, Vijay Mallya put his team up for sale for the price of $221 million. Eventually the team was bought out by Toyota and the cost reduced to only $200 million, as Toyota keep the deal with Mercedes to use the all-new AMG power units for 2017, as the previously named Force India team were already contracted to do so. This will give the new Japanese team another year to work on their engine designs, as they look to beat other native rivals Mugen and Honda. Water treatment company BWT become the main car sponsors, which many in the paddock found to be ironic, as Toyota's cars for the foreseeable future will now be pink, and from their previous partnership with Panasonic where the cars were red and white, if those colours were mixed together, the cars would become pink. Toyota also looked to lead the midfield battle going into the start of the season, as Toyota were confident with their high downforce car design, as they were assured by AMG their power units would deliver the power that they need. Toyota returned to F1 and intend to make their presence known, as they signed 2008 World Champion Lewis Hamilton on a 2-year contract with an option for a 3rd year. Partnering the Brit is to be Esteban Ocon after an impressive debut season, which included a podium finish at Azerbaijan. As for Manor, despite finishing 10th in the Constructors' Championship in 2016, Manor higher-ups saw they would make a financial loss if they continued in F1 for another season. After beating out Caterham and HRT in the new team battle, F1 returns to only having 10 teams on the grid. Manor now turn their attentions to their WC programme, which has led to one of their cars finishing 7th overall and 6th in class in the 2017 Le Mans 24 Hours. So that's the story of pre-season testing. Are Mercedes and Ferrari going to dominate the championship, or can Red Bull and Williams do anything to stop them? Find out Fridays at 5 PM starting on the 6th of October, as 10 teams and 20 drivers battle it out to become the 2018 Constructors and Drivers World Champions in UniONE Career Season 4.